Love technical difficulties, but we're back with part two of AEW discussion. We left off speaking about a dream scenario that you had of Brian Danielson, excuse me, and Wheeler Yuta. Um, let's see what other champions we got. The current trios championship. That I believe is Samoa Joe, Hook, and who's the other one?
Yeah, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata, the Ops right now are the trios champions. I
Okay.
think right now somebody like a Ricochet in the Gates of Agony could be a great trios champion. You know, it gives Ricochet a heel run. It continues his heel run, and it has him with his backup with titles, or you put him on somebody from the Don Callis family. Like you have three of them join up and win the trios titles. That would be something that would work storyline wise.
Okay. Um, Now I know Ring of Honor, Athena's been the champion forever. Do you see her ever losing that title? And if so, who?
I do. I definitely do. Um, right now, she's kind of buddy buddy with Billy Starks in Ring of Honor. And I know she's faced Billy a few times, but I think it's time to pull the trigger on Billy Starks turning on Athena and winning that title from her. You know, Athena's had the title for ever now, and I think it's finally time to showcase some new, younger talent. If not Billy Stark, maybe even somebody from the AEW roster like a Sky Blue or Julia Hart. One of them would be a great champion in Ring of Honor as well.
I like Sky Blue.
Yeah,
I do
that
like Sky Blue. The
Triangle of
AEW Tag
Madness
Team
stuff is pretty good,
Championships.
you know. So right now that's Brodito, and to me, I think that's a transitional championship. I have a feeling that that is not going to last all that long, and I think end of the day, I think it goes back all around the waist of FTR.
Okay. Not you don't think the Bucks or Christian and Cope?
See, I don't think the Bucks need the titles. You know, their gimmick right now is just hilarious. The former EVPs and they're coming out to Hanson's Mbop and things like that. It's just a comedy gimmick and it's great right now.
Okay. Um, I believe we have the. Am I mistaken that the international and there was another title that is kind of fused together
Yep, that's the
with
one that
Okada?
Okada has right now. Yep.
Okay.
Um, so for Okada's title, I'm I mentioned it earlier, but I think Takeshita is a good person to take that title off of Okada. It it pushes Takeshita as more of a baby face, and I don't know that he's a great heel. It'll be interesting to see what he could do with a main title like that international title.
Do you have high hopes for him?
I think he's one of the best that AEW has. I don't think he's showcased enough, considering the fact he's had maybe two or three pay per view matches this year. Like, he's not on every pay per view card. I feel that he's a person that could be and deserves to be. It really depends on what AEW wants to do with him and maybe the kind of schedule he wants to have too.
Okay. So give a recap of what happened on Dynamite for those who may not be in the loop.
Yeah, so this week on Dynamite, it started where Moxley was calling, or Darby was calling out Moxley, or Gabe Kidd came out calling out Darby Allin, and Darby came out. You had everybody come out. You had Shibata, Samoa Joe, Hobbs. They all came out, and they and the Death Riders all fought for a while. Darby ended up smothering Gabe Kidd and putting him in a body bag and driving off with Gabe Kidd in a body bag attached to the back of a truck. So Gabe Kidd getting dragged in a body bag. Then they had the Brodito keep the tag titles against Claudio and Wheeler. But while this match was going on, Moxley was outside the ring, and Darby came back and attacked Moxley outside the ring. So they're continuing that storyline. You had the Mercedes Moné versus Alex Windsor. Great match. Monet retained, and then out comes Riho, like I said, first ever women's champion. And then the night ended with an 8-man match where Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Bucks beat Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and Jet Speed. And then after the match, Kyle Fletcher took out both Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega.
Okay, what are some of your favorite things that draw you over the current WWE product?
I've said it before. I think storyline wise, WWE has always been better. But when it comes to their pay per views, their events, like the actual matches, AEW has better overall matches, in my opinion. WWE's been better at like storylines and building that. AEW's been better at, say, booking the right people against one another and putting on great matches.
If you can give me 5 people in AEW right now that you consider a must watch when it comes to their matches or segments to somebody that may not be fully invested in AEW, who would you suggest? 5 people you would suggest?
Timeless Tony Storm. This timeless character has been absolutely amazing with Tony Storm. She has been incredible. For those of you that saw her in NXT or WWE for a while, this is a much different Tony Storm than you ever saw in WWE. She has creative freedom, and she's been great with what she's done in her AEW one. So that is one of the main ones. Um, Next up, you would have somebody like a Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher, great in the ring, unbelievable technical wrestler. He's okay on the mic too, but he's not very well known outside of AEW. Aside from that, you have some of the young women in AEW, like a Sky Blue, like a Julia Hart, like even a Jamie Hayter, like some of those young people that are still kind of up and coming. Konosuke Takeshita, I know I've talked about him a lot in this episode, but he's another person not familiar to a lot of WWE fans, and he's somebody that can put on a classic no matter who you put in the ring with him. But right now, although he's injured, and I know it's going to take a year to get him back, Will Ospreay is the person to watch in AEW. I would honestly put him above Seth Rollins right now in terms of in ring talent, in ring ability, and just overall matches. I would have Will Ospreay above Seth Rollins.
I know that's a dream match a lot of people would like to see.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, the thing with Osprey is like his entrance is absolute aura. Like being in the arena for that entrance would have been absolutely epic. I've talked to a lot of people that have been there at different AEW shows, and that Osprey entrance just hits differently. And it gets the crowd so hyped up for any of matches whenever he is competing.
Aura is very important in wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you wanted your camera off. It has been, but I didn't know for sure.
Ah, it is off. Okay. No, but I will attempt to fix that.
Yeah, it has been, but that's all right. It's just we're just chatting anyway.
Yeah. Do you think in sometime in the future that AEW will compete willingly with WWE? Aha, I fixed it.
Yes, I do think it will happen, but I think right now it's kind of like I said with Swerve being injured, with Osprey being injured. It right now is not the time to be going head to head with WWE where you're charging like $50 for your pay-per-views and most people can get them free on WWE net on Netflix or whatever. Um, because this would be a great show. Like if somebody like Osprey and Swerve were both still healthy, I think going head to head with WWE would be perfect. Like it would be a great idea for this show to be going head to head. But with the injuries and with those two main matches of Cena and Brock and then the Punk and AJ, Becky and Seth, I don't think it's the right time to go head to head.
Can't forget the Women's World Championship, Io and Stephanie Vaquer are
Yeah,
also
Io
going to be
Sky,
competing.
Stephanie Vaquer. Um, yeah, I think Vaquer finally gets her moment. I do think that it's the right call to put that title on Stephanie Vaquer as well.
I'm gonna wait to make my predictions on that show, but I'm kind of in between how I feel about that because I love them both. I think one of my favorite things right now is Asuka when she yells at Kyrie. I don't know why. It's just like Kyrie. And Kyrie's just like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I could see an Asuka heel turn coming, and I could see Asuka versus Rhea maybe even being added to WrestlePalooza because they've been teasing it. So I could see that getting added.
That'll be a pretty good match. I'd be down for that. As we
Yeah,
wrap up,
it.
I
Yeah.
question I want to ask you as a person that's going to the AW show. Um, will you watch WrestlePalooza later, or will you just look at the results?
So, I mean, part of me wants to watch it. Part of me wants to see it, but I know that like the people that I'm going with to All Out, like I'm going with my nephews, and I know that both of them are like, I have no interest in seeing Cena versus Brock, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. So I don't know for sure whether I'm going to watch it that night or what. I will eventually, I'm sure, watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to watch it that night. Because I might just want to spend time with my nephews or whatever. If they don't want to watch Cena versus Brock, I'm not going to sit there with my headset on watching while they're doing other things, if that makes sense.
It does. I understand that. I understand that completely. Something else I wanted to ask you. Oh, I think some of the people's that are non AEW fans or casual AEW fans issues is that their pay per views are way too long. It's like 13 matches sometimes, and it's like that's a lot. That's a long show. Like that. I mean, even all out, it starts at 3, 4, 5, 6. It's probably gonna be over by like 8 o'clock. Do you think their pay per views are too long?
Yeah, that's one thing. Tony Khan, he likes to overbook the shit out of things. He likes to overbook things. He likes to have, if you need 8 matches on the card, he wants 12. Like he wants more and more matches. Where it's like Tony, literally put 8 strong matches out there, even less than 8. But put your best people out there like that. What was it? Forbidden Door was an okay pay-per-view. But if you want any AEW fan or anybody that's never seen AEW and you want a pay-per-view for them to watch, go watch All In 2025. Probably one of the greatest pay-per-views I've seen in probably 10, 15 years. Not a bad match on that card, really. There were some iffy results, but the matches were all like 4 or 5 star matches.
So you think you would be okay with uh 7 to 8 match card for your pay per views versus the 12, 13 matches?
Yeah, I'm okay with a smaller match card. What I think they need to do is they need to figure out who their top talent is right now, especially with some of the injuries, and they need to focus on that. And even if you give, say, your top talent a card or two off on pay per view. So instead of doing 12 matches, you have like 7 matches or 8 matches. And the ones that you don't put on this pay per view, you put those people on the next pay per view, and you give a few people that you just put on this 8 match pay per view the next one off. So you kind of alternate people in and out.
I think WWE has that problem too. They have such a big roster, but they don't know how to rotate their roster efficiently. It's like you go a month without Stephanie or more without Stephanie the Kerr having a match. Okay, but then Braun Breaker's having a match every other week, or Jey Uso or LA Knight. It's like, okay, I get people want to see them, but you can't build your future around a CM Punk. He's in his 40s. LA Knight, he's in his 40s. Like, let's showcase some of these younger talent or more fluent talent. I understand what AEW is doing with the big card because like, hey, you get to see just about everybody, but you don't need to see that all the time. As we wrap up, sir, thank you
And
for joining
yep,
Wrestling Therapy today, sir. Um, Follow on YouTube at Wrestling Therapy. We talk AEW, WWE. We can talk New Japan if you want, TNA, NXT, GCW, Bloodsport. It's whatever. Is there anything else you would like to say or promote or plug or anything as we wrap up?
No, I mean, I think I've said a lot, and I know I'm going to get called like an AEW mark or whatever. That's fine. I prefer
Who cares?
watching AEW right now than I prefer watching WWE. One last thing I will say, I think that AEW has a much brighter future in terms of younger talent than WWE. WWE has a lot of talent, but a lot of them are like late 30s, mid 30s, whatever, like people that have been around for years. I don't see a whole lot of developmental, like early 20s people that are really doing a lot in WWE, even in the NXT brand. Whereas AEW, you have so many people in their early to mid 20s that are making names for themselves right now in AEW.
So not a fan of like the Jades and the Tiffany's and the Roxanne Perez's and the Rias.
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, they're great, but I think that I do think that AEW has a much bigger um, number of the young up and coming people.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, we will end on that note because that is a fine note. But John, thank you for joining. We will have you back on again for your pre AE Dub All Out predictions. Thank you for joining. Everybody, stay safe, stay blessed. Have a good
Yeah,
one.